So one of the biggest questions that I get a lot, it might be like homeschooling sounds really cool or interesting, but is there like a bigger why behind it? And if you ask 3 different people, you'll get 3 different responses. But for our family, it really, we're Christ followers, and so it comes down to part of when Jesus left, his great commission was to make disciples of all nations, and teach them to obey everything that Jesus commanded. And for us, that is that's a big motivator in homeschooling our children. Deuteronomy talks about how when you are on the road and when you sit down and when you rise up and when basically it's like when you're doing everything, tell your children about Yahweh. And it's like one of the few times in scripture where God gives instructions about child rearing, and it's like, just do it all the time. Don't wait for Sunday school, and don't do it at 10 minutes in the morning. Like, talk about Yahweh with your children all the time. And I feel like homeschooling is just such a beautiful way to do that because you get so much time with your kids. You're really around them all the time, which is wonderful, and then it's really hard sometimes because they're crazy sometimes, especially if you have a lot of little kids. But it really, you get so much time to have conversations with them and become students of how your kids think and what motivates them and what drives their actions and what, I don't know, you get to see their little hearts all the time. And all these conversations come out that if you, without the excess time that homeschooling provides, I think would just be really hard to come out. Like the other day, my 7-year-old Everett, he had been reading about something about like how God was the Trinity, and so we had this like really like an hour-long conversation about the Trinity, and I would just ask him questions. He'd tell me what he thinks, and then he'd ask me questions. And I mean, we didn't solve the puzzle of the Trinity, but we had all that time to just around the kitchen table while we were making lunch and cleaning up and doing chores. We had all that time to talk about these things that he was thinking about. So I really love that about homeschooling. And you also get time for your kids to develop relationships with each other. I think our culture really loves the idea of, trying to be super PC. We love the idea of diversity, and I am all for a multi-ethnic society, but I think we sometimes believe this lie that the best way to learn how to get along with people are to throw a bunch of strangers into a room together who don't have any common themes, and then everyone will learn how to get along. But I really think that the way that the family is set up, it's almost like training grounds for getting along with people the rest of your life. So when you are in a fight with your brother and I don't know, like having the space and the opportunity to learn how to resolve disputes in a healthy way, in an honoring way, in a loving way, and how to disagree with each other and how to get along and how to work together as a family, that is really good work. And it's work that you're going to see the fruit of in your kids' lives for the rest of their lives. So that's one answer.